What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sending Off Football. I'm Andrew Schauder.
I'm Mateo Vargas.
I'm Thomas Mastores.
And we have a very special La Liga preview today. You okay, buddy?
Yeah, buddy.
He's just very excited about La Liga. He loves this league. He loves this league. All right, so let's start right up top. Let's talk about, the top teams, the European spots. So who do you have winning the league? It's probably a shocker.
Barcelona.
Barcelona. Who do you have winning the league?
Obviously Real Madrid.
So I'm a Madrista. That's my flag. But I think Barca has it this year. I think it's the same thing with. Come on now. I think it's the same thing with Manchester City. I just think they have too much. They have this stability, which I think Real Madrid is lacking at this moment. Obviously, with Ronaldo leaving. So
I think them losing Ronaldo just doesn't give them a shot. They had a guy scoring. People consider last year a bad year for Ronaldo. He scored 25 goals. They're never gonna get a guy like that. If they bring in Hazard, that's cool and all, but he's not gonna. He'll give them 10 goals, maybe 15. If he's no Ronaldo,
yeah,
that's why.
I have Madrid finishing second. I just think losing, like you said, losing Ronaldo, you're losing not only the goal tally, which is incredible. No one's gonna match that goal tally besides like a Leo Messi. You're losing the mentality. People a lot of like the critics, they talk about Ronaldo. You're talking about someone who's petulant on the field and he has an attitude. He gets mad if someone else scores. That mentality is good. To want to score and always bury goals, that's a good mentality. I mean, what do you think? You think Madrid's gonna win the league? So why?
I think everybody's forgetting about Gareth Bale, and I think everybody's forgetting how good and how efficient he is. Because if we're talking about before Zidane took the year after Zidane took charge. After they won the Champions League, the best year to begin with was Gareth Bale. Ronaldo was obviously injured, but that was Gareth Bale's team until he got injured and Ronaldo came back. So I think that everybody forgets how good Gareth Bale is, and we're forgetting that he scored 2 goals in the Champions League final. How many players in Barcelona besides Messi could do that?
Yeah, my whole thing with Bale, I love Bale. I'm a huge Bale fan. Like, he shows up every final we've had. I mean, the Champions League final in Kiev, like, with that overhead goal, that was unbelievable. He shows up every final. It's just, is he going to be there for the whole La Liga season?
I mean, I feel like
it's a marathon, not a race.
You guys are also forgetting that without you have to understand, taking Ronaldo's place is something that it's irreplaceable. You will never find another player that's going to replace it. So there's no point of looking for a replacement for Ronaldo, because you're not going to find a replacement for Ronaldo. But you can find a replacement to better the team at itself. Because yes, but we also have Luka Modric. We also have Toni Kroos. We also have Marcelo still. If Courtois comes, if Hazard comes, you add more playmakers. And we're forgetting that also Asensio is going to get more of a bigger role. And he's going to actually get that time to make a place for himself in the starting 11 and make a place for himself in history, period. So the talent is there. Madrid, the talent is there. And the winning mentality is going to be there without Ronaldo, or with Ronaldo. That's something that Ramos is still there. So that leadership is still going to be there. The heart is still going to be there. And we're 3-time defending champions. And you can never count out a champion ever.
All those guys are great, and they're some of the best midfielders. Kroos, Modric, those are some of my favorite midfielders. But they're not going to score 30 goals. Asensio is not going to score 20 goals.
But they don't need to, because if we're looking at there's a lot of teams that made it far without having a player to score 30 goals. It's if you play as a team and if you could win games as a team. Because a player like Ronaldo, there's only 2.
See what and
Barca has the other one.
Exactly. Because I know, but then you're practically saying like, all right, so every other team is discounted besides Barcelona and Real Madrid, and that can't be true, because even though that Barca have a 50 league year score, they've lost 3 straight quarter league finals against teams that wasn't Real Madrid. Other European teams.
What concerns me the most about Madrid this season, 2 things. One, we know they haven't been the best team in La Liga. And we're not saying they're finishing 5th or 6th like some teams in like other leagues that once in a while they have a slide, like Chelsea when they finished 10th that one season. But look, what concerns me about Real, because when we're talking about Madrid, we're talking about trophies, so we're going to hold them to a different standard. You're just finishing top 4 isn't good enough. So one, they need to listen. The talent's there. Asensio's a stud. Isco is amazing. He's a magician on the ball. But pretty soon, Ramos, Modric, Kroos, they're not getting any younger. They're going to have to start.
Yeah, but they're bringing in younger players.
As long as they bring in players like Courtois, as long as they bring in a player like Eden Hazard, and then you have now the Brazilian winger Vinicius, who looks like he looks like he's the real deal. That's my only concern. As long as they could fill the shoes, they're not going to fill that goal tally by Ronaldo. But if they could fill the shoes and hopefully Gareth Bale can be healthy. If he could have a healthy spell this La Liga season, I'm a lot more confident.
Because you want to know, I saw Real Madrid team that without Ronaldo scoring in the semifinals, they still beat handily a really, really good Bayern team in the semifinals.
No, yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then without Ronaldo scoring, they also beat a really good Liverpool team. So
but you can never. We're talking about La Liga here.
Of course, yeah,
it's a different story.
and it is a different story.
They own the Champions League.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to remember, this is a team that expected Ronaldo to be there last year at the beginning of the year, and he wasn't there because of the red card. So there was no strategy behind. They didn't see Ronaldo coming out. So what strategy does he then have in place for that to happen? They didn't.
But they did finish third in the league.
But now they have a new coach, which is a new philosophy and a new style of play, which means that it does change the way that Real Madrid does play. And you see it a lot with Barcelona. How does Barcelona stay so consistent? They change managers every 2-3 years, and they bring a new philosophy to keep it fresh, to keep everybody involved.
And when we're talking about these clubs, they are attracting the best players.
And we are talking about Real Madrid. La Liga, they could win it because the younger players, they could play in I wouldn't say minor games, but they could play in less moment games and save the other guys for the rest, because at the end of the day, that's where you win La Liga down the stretch. When you got a game on Wednesday, a game on Sunday, and then you have a game on Tuesday, and then next Wednesday you have another game. So you know what I mean? Because it's the grind.
These are all valid points. All right, so let's move off of Real and Barca, because I think we all know that La Liga pretty much is a 3-horse race. So third, I'm sure we all have Atletico coming in third. So talk to me about Atletico. Where do you see them? They brought in Thomas Lemar.
He's good. I think he's important. I think Griezmann's great, and I think they have the best goalie in the world, in Oblak.
Jan Oblak.
Yeah, he's the best goalie.
He's a star.
He's better than De Gea. He's the best for me.
That guy is definitely
I mean, the Atletico are like a Spurs. You know, they're gonna be there every year. You can count them.
It might not win.
It's more the mentality and the philosophy.
It is.
It might not win, but
it is exactly. And they have a really good coach, which, you know, these are important. Points to have, because they have a really strong defense. Amazing goalkeeper.
Yeah, Godin is a great out and out defender.
They have a solid midfield, and their attacking is pretty solid. I think that they could probably use a little bit more help with another striker.
You know who they're linked with? Olivier Giroud.
Yeah.
On a deal where
I know you don't like that just by your face.
Where Atletico want to loan him in, but Chelsea want it to be a permanent deal. They want to sell him.
I think they should get him. I think they should get him.
I think,
and have him as like the number 9. Maybe Griezmann.
I think they should get him
in the World Cup.
I think they should get him and have him pass out water bottles to the players during break.
Come on now.
I'm sorry.
If you look at his goal tally for France,
he's a World Cup winner.
He's a World Cup winner.
He is a World Cup winner, but he's also garbage.
Hey. He's a good target man. He does his job.
So I mean, I would pick Benzema.
You're not asking him to step over.
Look, I love Madrid. I'm not a big fan of Benzema, but I would pick Benzema over him any day of the year.
I think most people would.
Of the month.
I think most people would.
And I wouldn't pick Benzema.
Now Benzema's definitely taking a step back. I want him gone from Madrid.
No, he took like 17.
But I think everyone would take Benzema over him. And then you also have players like Lucas Hernandez and Versalco, who had very solid World Cups, I think, with that boost.
They had 4 World Cup players in the final.
Yeah.
Just alone, so that's more than any other team.
Great. All right, so are there any other teams that you see either taking it back in La Liga or taking a step up? A team we have to look out for, mainly because one player returning after a horrible run of injury luck. Villarreal, Santi Cazorla coming back. Do you see him making an impact? He's been out of the game for a while, but
I mean, they're solid.
I think Sevilla is really the team you gotta watch out for.
See, Sevilla, I think I like some of the young talent. Joaquin Correa.
Their goalie, Sergio Rico, he's good.
He's a very tricky, pacey winger, especially against Manchester United. Him and Murcia, they really stood out. They had creativity and pace.
If they can keep the World Cup winner and Zonzi, he's
if they could keep him, he's a beast. He's a big man in the midfield. He'll win you a ball in the middle.
And also,
of the
they finished in 7th, so they're not going to worry about Champions League or Europa League, which they've won 3 years in a row.
That's true. That's true.
So they're going to be focused on the league. So I think they finished 4th.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so let's talk about Golden Boot race. Usually it's the same names, but now when you're taking out Cristiano, it switches up a little. Who do you see finishing with the Golden Boot?
Messi.
I think Messi too.
Or Suarez.
I think it could be Messi or Griezmann.
So my top 3, Messi, he had 34 goals last year, always putting up crazy numbers. I think if he's healthy, now that he's the star of the show, Gareth Bale has a good shot Now that he's
Yeah, that's
he
true.
definitely has the talent to him.
Yeah.
I just need him to stay fit. I just need him to stay fit. I don't know what it is, but when he came to Real Madrid, he got bigger, he got stronger. But it's like
Injuries kept happening.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then I think Suarez is
It's a mental
always
thing
a good pick.
sometimes.
25 goals last year.
Yeah.
So all right, any other transfers that you assume will happen in La Liga?
I think Barca's gonna get Rabiot
Rabio, okay,
from PSG.
yeah,
Yeah.
great.
They need another
CDM.
midfielder. I think they're gonna ship Yeri Mina out.
Really, where do you see
Yeah.
him going?
Maybe a Premier League team, maybe Everton.
What do you think about Yeri Mina?
He's not a Barca player, for me.
So explain to our audience what do you mean by a Barca player?
He can't play out the back. He's 6'5", which you can't teach, but
Yeah.
in terms of playing at the back, he can't do it. I saw him play a game. He conceded 4 goals with him center back. And
He's a player
It's
like as Colombians we could definitely admit in the air there's no one
Yeah, he
else
scored
we would
3 goals in
rather
the World
take in
Cup,
the air.
yeah.
He is 6'5", but on ball he is.
I would take
shaky.
Sanchez
That
from
is what
Colombia.
that is what Barcelona is all about. You need every single player on that team to be able to make something happen with the ball, whether it's a pass out the back or creating in the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really have no opinion on that. I don't watch Barca, so I can't tell you about Barca.
Well, so you're the wrong person to have on the show then, huh?
I don't watch them. I'm sorry.
All right. So also, what's very interesting is
I watched them lose in the Champions League, though. I watch that. I watch that every year.
What's very interesting, it's La Liga preview, Mateo. What's very interesting is that Real Madrid have contacted Christian Pulisic. That is the latest. And no, I didn't make that up, just because we're Americans, by the way. Real Madrid have made an inquiry about Christian Pulisic. What do you make of that?
it's all about the money, You want to, they want to bring more money.
Tapping into the U.S. market.
Yeah. I think that's really all it is. There's so many better young players than that guy.
I think that he's.
I don't know about
I
so
think-
many.
I-
He's a
there's
good
lot.
young
I
player.
think-
There's a lot of better young
I
players.
think that there isn't a lot of young, better players as better as him. I don't know if you watch Dortmund, but I do. I like Dortmund a lot.
So you don't watch Barcelona, but you watch Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird, right? But I mean, I don't know how many Barca fans watch Madrid, so
I watch them every week.
So
we
Christian
don't watch you.
Pulisic. So
Christian Pulisic. I think his potential his upside could get so much better, especially if you surround him around better players, because he's a player that could create for himself and he could create for others. He's really good on the ball, and he finds good spaces in really tight areas. Obviously, I think he needs more playing time. I think he needs to play against, I wouldn't say tougher competition, but definitely he needs to be surrounded by better players. And
I think he's in the right team, to be honest, to
I
develop
think,
himself.
yeah, I think it goes.
have a great
I think it goes.
development program.
I think it goes so much more further, because I think Madrid is changing their ways. Instead of buying the biggest players, they're gonna buy.
100%.
They're gonna buy the best talent.
But that's going to switch this year with Ronaldo.
And
leaving.
exactly.
Now that they have
And
all this money.
but that's the thing. But all their transfers so far have been young players. So it's not like they brought a
Not
big
for
name
sure.
in. So they're changing the culture in Real Madrid, and the culture is we want to win now, yes, and we have the pieces to win now, but we also want to win in the future. And it's hard to win in the future when you spend all your money on big players,
Yeah.
and then you don't have that much money to spend on good talent, because good talent does cost money. So I think that they're being smarter in that aspect. I think that they are gonna get one big signing, and I think that the rest is they're gonna bring young players in. So I wouldn't be surprised if he were to come, because he's still a young guy. And
I see a player like Pulisic thriving in La Liga, actually.
and I think La Liga what wins La Liga is the consistency. That's what Madrid had in 2016. Their bench won them La Liga. So in La Liga it's the durability. You need to have a stable bench. I think Barcelona have an alright bench. I don't think they have I think we have a better bench. I think Madrid have a better bench than Barcelona. So at the end of the day, those are the games that are gonna win you La Liga. The games where where
See, my thought process between Christian Pulisic, why he could thrive in a league like La Liga, when we had the debate about the EPL, what's the better league? Obviously from a competitive standpoint, you look at the majority of the teams, how widespread the players are, like they're not so concentrated in like top 3 teams like La Liga. But I definitely gave you that La Liga on the ball and technically definitely superior. The English, mentality, it's notorious for just being a lot of athletes run, boot long balls, winning slide tackles. I remember Zlatan, he has a documentary on Netflix, and he's talking, this was years ago, he's talking about as a young player in Sweden, he's like, oh yeah, what do you think about Italian football? He's like, oh, that's real beautiful football. He's like, so one of his teammates asked him, what do you think about English football? He's like, oh, that's shit. So I understand from that standpoint. So with La Liga from the technical standpoint, and Pulisic is definitely a technical player, very good dribbler. You know, I'm not going to compare him to a Leo Messi, but that's the type of player he is. He wants to dribble, he wants to take players on from the wing. I see a player like him, and especially coming from the Bundesliga, which is a very physical league. It's
very physical.
It's a demanding league. You know, you have the weather there. It's you know, you have snow, all that. It's a very
teams.
very physical
Very
league.
defensive teams.
You know, obviously the team he's playing on, it's notorious for their style of play, which is quick, high pressing. But I see him succeeding in La Liga. And also talk about Malcolm. I know there's a story that's coming out of the woodwork with him. It looked like a deal was done to Roma, but
apparently Barca want to hijack it. And
I mean, are you surprised the way they run business?
what does that mean?
What does that mean? I mean, you know, when the Neymar situation was going around, they were talking about where the money came from that. They were supposed to get a ban, but of course FIFA, you know, uplifted the ban.
If you're FIFA, are you taking out the best team in the world at that time? Or are you going to ban
That's
the
what
best
I'm
team in
saying.
the
Of
world?
course
You
not,
don't do that.
because they're not going to do anything that's going to cost them the bottom
That's the
line.
point.
They're not going to do anything that costs them bottom line.
That's the point.
That's why FIFA is going to keep being FIFA, you know. So do you see Malcolm going to Roma? Do you see Barcelona being in play realistically?
I think they should let him go to Roma. And you saw what happened to Mo Salah over there. Mo Salah became
Yeah.
a great player now.
He is coming from Bordeaux, you know.
Yeah, you can't really. But I don't think they should sign him. I think they should let him go there, and in a few years, 2 or 3 years, maybe they should pick him up because they have Dembele, they have Coutinho, they have so many players that
Yeah.
I don't think they need him.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're gonna fit them.
Yeah, you can't fit him. That's
I
what
don't know
I'm
where
saying.
they're gonna be fit.
You want him to be a bench
But
warmer?
listen, you win the league with strength and depth. So
yeah, but
you can bring
but
him
you
up.
don't
Barca don't really play off that. That's the thing.
They stick to
And
their core guys.
you have so many midfielders.
You never know
like-
what happens with injuries, you know.
Of course.
You know.
But you don't want a superstar young stud being on the on the bench. You know, Dembele, he was injured. That's why that happened to him. But
Yeah, you know,
you don't want.
it's all about the players and their psyches and who's willing to like sit out. You know, Isco, I give Isco a lot of credit. That guy could have requested a transfer 3 seasons ago, but he's like, I'm gonna ride it out. Finally, he got a coach in Zidane who's like, all right, I'm gonna pick you over the big money guy, James Rodriguez. And we love James, but
Who was better for Madrid?
Yeah, 100%. When James got his time,
They're two. They're two.
When
completely
James got
different-
his
they're-
chances,
They're two
he
completely
was
different
great.
players because Real Madrid won that league because of Morata and James Rodriguez. 100%. It was those two players. They came in probably at the end of every game,
I
and
think it was more than Morata.
They came out of-
Rodriguez.
they
That's
came-
Ronaldo scoring over 20, 30
yeah,
goals.
yeah.
That's a big factor too.
But Morata and you see, but I don't know if you watch.
They sold both those
I don't know
guys.
if you watch Real Madrid or not, but and the reason why they
I watched them in Barcelona.
and I'll tell you why.
So do I.
And the reason why they both left is because they knew that they won them that league and they didn't get their starting spots. That's why they left. They didn't leave for no other reason.
But you look at a player like Isco, he's winning.
A player like James
the
Rodriguez,
players player of the year, the fans player of the year.
and a player like James Rodriguez is the best midfielder in Europe, in Germany.
James Rodriguez
On his first year,
I don't disagree.
As
Awesome.
his first year in Germany,
He was a great playmaker.
You see that game. When I look at the Bayern Madrid game, the player that had more in the midfield, that created more in the midfield to me, and that semifinal was James Rodriguez.
I think Bayern were the better team, to be honest.
And he had the goal.
Bayern were the better team in that second leg.
And Bayern were the better team.
They just couldn't finish.
And the person that
No, and also the goalie messed up. That's
that's a whole different story.
And we're also talking about, and the person that led that midfield to Bayern having such a successful second game was James Rodriguez. So we're talking about they're two completely different players because James, there's no one in the world who will find you a better ball, a better pass on point
on a dead ball.
on
I
a dead ball than
on a dead
James
ball, I agree.
Rodriguez. So we're talking about the quality of player because James Rodriguez is something that they lacked last year. And that's why they struggled in the league because they didn't have that spark, and he brings you that spark because he will get through the defense. He will run through defenses. He's not a.
I take
he's not a
defense over James.
All right,
He's
yeah,
a way better.
And I love James.
but it's not.
I like James too as a player. I think he's good. I would just take Isco over. He's more influential in the game. You can see like he'll disappear.
But
from a dead ball, he's
from a
better.
free kick, from a corner,
if I want someone to whip in a ball, 100% James.
The thing was that James didn't take Isco's spot. Because Casemiro took that spot.
He gave them more stability in the midfield. They went from a 4-3-3 attacking to a 4-3-3 holding, and it worked out better.
That's pretty much what it was.
Like
I mean,
they lost a striker. They lost a striker up top. They instead of attacking with 3, they attacked with 2. which opened up a midfielder, and that midfield position went to Isco over Bale.
Okay, all right.
So Isco never took
Bale's also had a bad string with injuries.
Isco never took him out of that, and a lot of oh my god, I don't know if you guys remember against the Sporting, and I think it was in the group stage. It was Sporting versus Real Madrid, and Real Madrid was losing 1-0, 89th minute. Ronaldo scored a free kick to tie the game. James Rodriguez made the game-winning pass to Alvaro Morata to win the game. That happened in La Liga about 4 or 5 times. That they won the game, and it was a link-up play between the both of them, because Morata in the air, he's a great header, and he scores probably more goals with his head than he does with his feet. So
no, it's true.
So those are two huge components. The thing is, as I was saying, Real Madrid, when you play with players like Real Madrid, you do play better, and you can see that with Morata. He went to the Premier League and he didn't have as much success because he didn't have the players around him that he did at Madrid.
But then when he was on Juve, he had really good players, and he actually took Madrid out of the Champions League that year.
So thanks for proving my point.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Yeah,
with you.
thanks for proving my point. Because if you look with the Chelsea team are a very inconsistent team that have no philosophy, and probably their tactics suck. Honestly, they
also
suck.
had back problems. That was
that also.
But let's stay off for Chelsea because it's La Liga.
No, but I'm saying we're talking about,
So pretty much to wrap up, James Rodriguez, world class, Isco, world class, and it looks like James isn't coming back. He's
probably come back next year.
He's done. Bayern Munich said he's content at Bayern Munich, so we wish him the best of luck. But now it's La Liga. All right, so let's move on from that in transfer news. Let's talk about our all-time La Liga 11, starting from the back on the way up. We're gonna run a 4-3-3. Is that okay with you guys?
Could we start a goalkeeper?
We're going to start a goalkeeper. I think it's pretty easy.
I think Casillas.
Yeah. The same between the sticks, Iker Casillas, no doubt about it. This one should be interesting. Left back.
Marcelo.
I think Marcelo too.
Marcelo, I think he's better than.
Honorable mention to Roberto Carlos, but I think if you look at the trophy haul,
it's Marcelo.
Because the Galacticos really underachieved during that era.
Yeah.
But he was a right back also.
Marcelo?
Roberto Carlos.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about him at left back because I think the right back.
Because he did play with Marcelo.
At
Real Madrid.
But let's talk about the era when he was.
Look, in his era, there was no better left back in the world.
No, yeah,
and there's no better free kick left back in the world. There's no better defender that can score like him in the world.
That's why the only thing that I think that separates.
And he won a World Cup. And I think that, but he won a World Cup also.
So you look at a player like Roberto Carlos. I mean, in his time, he was great, but I think what really separates him and Marcelo is the trophy haul. And I know that you don't like that, but all right. So let's move on to the center backs. 2 center backs.
Puyol and Ramos.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's a no given. The majority of this team, sorry Atleti, sorry Sevilla, but like the majority of this team, if not all, it's gonna be those 2 giants. I mean, you can't compete with them. The trophy haul, what Ramos has done recently, what Puyol did in their time, especially with Pep, it's unbelievable. Who's that? Some more transfer news?
Yeah,
he's the main insider, so you never know what's going on with this guy.
Oh, breaking news.
Okay, so right back, I think it's also obvious just because what he did with that Barcelona side.
Yeah.
Dani Alves.
The most decorated footballer.
How many trophies?
He won like 37, 38.
Especially after his time with PSG.
And Juventus. He just won a bunch of random trophies over there.
Yeah, they're always winning like 5-6 trophies a year. So definitely Dani Alves. All right, so 3 midfielders. Doesn't matter which role they're playing. Just give me 3 midfielders. I'm thinking 2 of them are a lock.
Xavi and Iniesta.
Xavi, Iniesta, and Zidane, to me. I have to go with Zidane.
See, Zidane, I want to give it to him. I probably would. He's one of my favorite players of all time. But you have to talk about a guy like Alfredo Di Stefano. That guy, what he won too. You could talk about eras, but you can't erase those.
I give it a Busquets.
You can't erase Busquets over Zidane?
He's probably just
Zidane.
The best defensive midfielder of this era. He was never going to get talked about. Barcelona don't win all those trophies. They don't win 6 trophies in a year without him. They're never going to talk about him, but the day he retires, we're going to know how important he was to Barca.
No, of course. Like you look at Guardiola, he said if I had to come back and be one player, he said he would be Busquets.
Exactly.
But, I mean, he is coaching the guy. It's a little biased there. But, you look at someone like Di Stefano, 8 La Ligas, 5 Euro Cups. It is a whole different era. But, still does matter. All right, and again, when we talk about the 2 wingers here, because I have a different striker that is not named, Leo or Cristiano, but I think the two wingers, left wing, right wing, for me, it's obvious. We're talking about the GOATs.
Left wing is Ronaldo, right wing is Messi.
The GOATs. We're talking about the GOATs. So we don't even have to talk about them, touch on that. Let's talk about Puskas. Because you look at that guy and his goal tallies. For me, that's my all-time number one La Liga striker. You look at 374 goals and 358 appearances with 5 La Ligas and 3 straight Euro Cups to boot. This guy has the best goal of the year award named after him. That's my pick. In the story of the game, that's my pick.
That's debatable, and it's a hard.
Of course, it's errors, but
I think Raul should definitely be there. Type of player Raul was, the type of striker he was a number 9. And what he won with Madrid and what he did with Madrid should not go unnoticed, because he's a La Liga legend. And he's a legend that not only Real Madrid missed, but Spanish football itself missed when he left. And it's debatable though. It's argumentable.
I go to Stefano.
Stefano, you play him up top.
Yeah, I think an honorable mention would be Cruyff. No, we didn't put him in there. But I think you definitely
there's a couple players
changed Barca.
100%. I think someone who obviously he didn't spend the time in here, but you look at some of the numbers and what he's doing. So Suarez,
if Suarez had
great striker in La Liga.
I just don't think he's been in La Liga for that.
Yeah,
I think if he had maybe 2 or 3 more seasons, then you 100%. Could definitely throw him up there. But
all right, so now let's completely shift over to a whole new topic, but it's something we have to talk about because it is pretty surprising. The 29-year-old midfielder Mesut Ozil, we're talking about 4 or 5-time German Player of the Year, has retired from German football. And a backstory for anyone who's not familiar: pretty much before the World Cup started, someone like Mesut Ozil, he's of Turkish descent. So is Gundogan, plays on the German national team, Man City player. And they took a picture with the Turkish president before the World Cup. And, it was a simple picture. There was no political motive behind it, but it did not go well with the German media and press because, the media will latch on to anything. And especially after Germany completely crashed out of the World Cup, had a horrific showing, the media looked onto that and they were saying, oh, this isn't a German player. What is this Turk doing on the team? Because we know Ozil did not have a good World Cup at all. He had a horrible World Cup.
The media.
So what do you make of that?
He wins the World Cup 4 years ago. He's German.
Yeah.
He loses. They lose. He's not German. That's how the media is. But I think it's a great day for Germany that this guy retired, because this guy is just not a good player anymore. He's been so bad the past 3 to 4 seasons.
But off of what merit? From the German side, or are you talking about for club side?
Everything.
I think he's one of the best creators in the world. No,
I mean the last time he played with Germany in the big tournament, he did win it. Besides this World Cup,
in the Euro Cup, they didn't win it.
So I'm saying, but they went to the semifinals.
Yeah. You look at most winners. The next World Cup, they always.
So you look at that
seems to be the
and they won the Euros before that though. So, and he was a big part of those championship teams of them winning the Euros and of them winning the World Cup. Some players, they lose a step or two. So if he decided it was time to leave the national team, I think it should have been respected. I don't think it's anyone's business whether he wants to play on the national team or not. They have a lot of young players coming in. The problem, I think, here was with the Turkish side. I didn't see a problem in it.
You're talking about with the picture? Yeah,
I didn't see a problem with the picture. Obviously, they're going to make something out of nothing, but, as Germany, you can't blame the World Cup on one guy.
That's what I'm saying. Right, so we have a quote from Ozil. He said, "Is with a heavy heart that after much consideration, that because of recent events, I will no longer be playing for Germany at the international level. While I've had a feeling of racism and disrespect, I used to wear the German shirt with such pride and excitement, but now I don't." And you look at other players in the past, someone like Benzema. He said, "When I score, I'm French. When I don't, I'm Arab." Lukaku, when things are going well, I was Lukaku, the Belgian striker. When things weren't going well, I was Lukaku, the Belgian striker of Congo descent. So I think this is a problem that a lot of international teams, and after France won the World Cup, there was all these jokes and memes like, congratulations to Africa winning the World Cup. I think what people have to realize in these fans, it doesn't matter we're Americans. We know better than any other nation in the world because this is where everyone comes. All these nations. You know, you're Colombian, you're Greek, I'm Colombian, German, Czech. You can't judge a player off where his parents were from, where his whole lineage is from. It's where he's born. If he's eligible to represent the nation, he's eligible to represent that nation. But still, to disrespect someone and degrade someone when the whole team was shit. Let's be honest. It wasn't just this guy. The whole team was shit.
The strikers did absolutely nothing.
This guy's paying respect to his heritage, where he came from, where his parents were from, by taking a picture with the president. And the German FA, the Bayern Munich president, just completely went off on him. I think it's just no class, if we're being real.
No, I think that's wrong of them, like, from the races. That's not right. But me personally, I'm talking about playing.
Yeah, you're talking about on the pitch.
Yeah.
I think we can agree. He didn't do himself any favors.
You said people lose a step or two. I think this guy lost 3 or 4 steps when he left Madrid.
But you look at that first season at Arsenal. That's one of the most prolific passing seasons ever.
But
and think about Arsenal the last couple of years. It's just been stagnant. Wenger, his time, he had to go. I'm telling you, look out for Arsenal this season, man. Look out for them. We will see.
Look out for Liverpool.
That's true.
Got some big signings.
All right, boy, this was Sending Off Football. This is our La Liga preview. Pretty soon you should expect our Calcio A, Serie A, Italian
Thank
League
you
preview.
guys for watching. Please subscribe.
He loves this show. I'm Andrew Schauder.
I'm Timer Stars.
I'm Mateo Vargas.
And this is Sending Off Football.
Now what happens? He's saying some more.
Di Totti, inconcepibile, guardate cosa fa da dietro, inconcepibile.
France down to 10 men, and the showpiece of the world game has an unsavoury moment here that will make the headlines beyond the...